What if I told you that one man spent 27 years in a prison cell and walked out without a trace of hatred in his heart? What if I told you that his forgiveness changed an entire nation and inspired the world? This isn't a movie. This isn't fiction. This is the real story of Nelson Mandela, a man who was caged, crushed, silenced, but never broken. In the heart of South Africa, where the soil carried the blood of its people and the air echoed with the cries of injustice, a boy was born who would one day shake the world with the strength of his spirit. His name was Nelson Mandela. He was not born with a silver spoon. He did not inherit a crown or title. He was born into a land divided, a world split in two. One world of privilege and power, the other of poverty and pain. He grew up watching the sharp contrast: white children in clean schools, black children barefoot on broken streets, white families living in peace, black families hiding from police. The law was clear: if you were black, you were less. But deep inside the young Mandela, something stirred. A fire. A quiet but unshakable belief that freedom was not a gift to be given, it was a birthright to be claimed. As he grew, that fire turned into purpose. He studied. He questioned. He challenged. He joined the African National Congress and began to rise, not with violence, but with vision. Not with hate, but with hope. He marched. He spoke. He led. And the system feared him. So they tried to silence him. They called him a criminal. They banned his speeches. And when he wouldn't stop, they locked him away. 27 years. 27 years in a tiny prison cell on Robben Island. A cell so small, he couldn't stretch his legs. A bed so thin, it broke his back. Food barely enough to survive. No visits. No comforts. No freedom. They took his name off the news. Erased his face from the papers. They wanted the world to forget he ever existed. But they couldn't kill what he carried inside. Because real prisons aren't made of bricks. They're made of broken spirits. And Nelson Mandela's spirit could not be broken. He woke up each day not with bitterness, but with discipline. He led fellow inmates in study. He learned Afrikaans, the language of his jailers, not to surrender, but to understand. He kept his mind sharp, his hope alive. Years passed. Presidents changed. Generations rose. And yet, behind those cold bars, Mandela remained, still breathing, still believing. And then, after nearly 3 decades, the door opened. He walked out, not a prisoner, but a leader. Not a victim, but a visionary. Not full of revenge, but full of forgiveness. He stood before the nation that once locked him away, and he didn't call for war. He called for peace. He didn't point fingers. He extended hands. And slowly, the world saw something it had never seen before. A man who had every reason to hate, choosing instead to heal. He became the first black president of South Africa. But more than that, he became a symbol. A symbol of endurance. A symbol of courage. A symbol of a mindset that no one could chain. Mandela taught us that leadership is not about power. It's about sacrifice. That forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength. That real change doesn't come through rage. It comes through resilience. He could have chosen anger. He could have chosen division. But he chose to unite a broken land. Because his vision was bigger than his pain. And when the world asked, "How did you survive, Mandela?" he said simply, "It always seems impossible until it is done." He showed us that mindset is everything. That no struggle is too long. No prison is too strong. And no dream is too distant if you carry it with faith and fire. Mandela's life is not just history. It's a blueprint for every dreamer, every fighter, every soul who dares to rise in a world that keeps pushing you down. He was not just a man. He was a movement. He was not just a name. He was a message. And that message is clear. Stand for truth. Fight for justice. Lead with love. And never, ever, break. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have discovered that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Nelson Mandela.